Welcome back to Copperhead Customs, and welcome back to a new episode on this, our 1940 Chevy. Now, this will basically be the second episode on this. Well, really, yeah, kind of is the second episode because we did introduce the car once before. So if you are new and have just joined us for this, then you need to go and check all our other stuff that's down here and have a look at what we do and what we have. We have cars absolutely everywhere. There's another 10 of them upstairs. We've got the Bedford build going on. This is a $5,000 build. We're building this for $5,000 driving down the street, and we're going to achieve it, so don't worry about that. And that's going to be an absolute beast of a car. It is nearly completed. We've got about 18, 20 videos out on that already. All right, so you can go watch that at the start. We got this is my beautiful 54 Pontiac Star Chief that drives around. And we've got an old Oakland hot rod. We've got a 32 hot rod. We've got another Pontiac. We've got Eurocut. We've got all sorts of stuff kicking around, right, that we do. Right, but this one here is a 1940 Chev. And this here, I'm going to attempt, that's right, I'm going to attempt to build this for $5,000 as well. Really? Yep, I am. I said it in the last episode. On the first episode of this, I didn't even know you. Wasn't even really a full episode. It was just a little snippet of it. I think there's two videos on this. There's one where we pick it up, and then there's another one. It's got a bit. It's in another one where there's a bit of everything in it, right? So a few other builds. And I said in that one, I'm going to try and attempt to build this for $5,000 as well. Driving down the street, that is, driving down the street, $5,000. Okay, so that is the plan. We're going to try to build this for $5,000. I think I can achieve it. I actually think I can achieve it if I do it. I'll probably upset a few people with what I'm going to do to it, but whatever. Now, what we have done to this, we haven't really done anything other than just push it in the shed. But what we originally did do is we pulled all of the stuff out of it. So you can see here, all the parts, and we pressure cleaned the inside. That's right, I pressure cleaned the inside. Pressure cleaned the seats. Now I haven't done anything else to those seats yet. All I've done is hit them with a pressure cleaner, and that is it. And I know there's a few of you are probably looking at me like I'm a dead set idiot for doing that, but you'll understand why in a minute. And we actually added a bit of paint from there back. Okay, if you go look at the first video, you'll see what it did actually originally look like. And yeah, we added a little bit of paint to it just to blend the patina a bit. As you can see on here, we've got quite a bit of paint on the back, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different colors and textures and stuff happening. The red was an original colour on it. So what it was is it had bodywork done through the back here. Okay, there's bodywork done in through here. Grey primer, grey primer, grey primer. There's some hardcore red primer on there. There's some bodywork done here with some grey primer. So what I did was I added some greys and creams and browns and what have you to try to blend that body, those repairs, try to blend them up a bit. And so the look I've gone for is basically the bonnet's outside, but it starts off very rusty at the front and gets less and less and less and more paint as it works back. All right, so that's the look I went for. Okay, it was just to basically make it look more even because I have no intention of painting it, even though I have a full paint system. That's right, I do. So, but I do not want to paint it as. So here's a bit of a kind of the motto of what we do here is we generally buy people's projects. Okay, people's projects they've started. We don't generally start too many. Well, this we did. This is we started this from scratch, but a lot of our others are people's other projects that they've had for years and years and years and 15 and 20 years and whatever. And it beats them, okay? So, and we generally pick them up. Now, our sort of motto here is, I'm not into doing a project for 15 or 20 years, okay? We'd rather get that car driving down the street as it is and enjoy it. Just like that. And just go and drive it and enjoy it as it is. We got nice cars. You know what I mean? We got blinged out cars. We've got cars everywhere. But with this here, I can't see the point in, honestly, all right, you want to hear what I think you could do if you wanted to do that stupid stuff. Right, this is what I'd do. This is what I'd do if I wanted to go crazy on this. See how the boot's that? So I'd take a wedge out of that boot and I'd lay that down so that boot was on that angle. I'd chop the roof, take 6 inches out of the roof, and I'd get rid of this door, turn it into a two, move the pillar back, turn it into a 2-door, bring the roof line up to there, and have a big long boot, but the boot would be there on that angle, going to there, like that, roof, to there. See, I don't know if you can picture that, but that's what I'll do if I wanted to be stupid. All right, then I'd cut those guards that way, widen them 2-3 inches. I'd get some monster tyres in there. Now, if you want to be stupid, you put a big stinking V8 in it, and it would probably cost you $50,000 to $100,000, and it would probably take you at least a year working full time on it, I reckon. Full time, didn't go to work, spent 40 hours a week, that would take you at least a year. Joe Blow, who does a few hours each night or an hour a night, a couple of hours on the weekend, that's where you're talking these big 15-year projects or whatever. All right, so that's not what we do. I've got no intention of chopping this up. To me, it's too good a car to chop up for a start, but I'd rather put it back together and go and drive it down the street looking like that. Still going to turn just as many heads looking like that as it is all pimped out. All right, but I get to enjoy it while Joe Blow's still in the shed working on it, and by the time he finishes it, I would have built 15 or 20 of them. Yeah? So that's my motto, right? That's what I like to do. So anyway, the plan with this car is we're going to build it for $5,000, okay? So my plan is to rebuild it, rebuild all of this. So, all right, we'll take a little step back. We'll take one. We'll slow down a little bit, eh? We'll take a step back and tell you some history on this car. So this car was originally a New South Wales car. It was a runner and a driver. I've actually got a number plate and I've got a form and whatever. It was, I don't know how long ago, but it was a runner and a driver driving down the street. So I pulled it off the road to refurb it, okay? And they had done quite a lot. The body was pretty much ready for paint. It needed a coat. Pretty much needed a couple bits sanded. The body was pretty well there. Obviously, that dent is new. The body was dead straight. It was very close. It was close to being ready for paint. Okay, I say close. It wasn't ready for paint, but it was close to being ready for paint. But all the parts had been refurbed. All right. So they don't look it now, do they? No. So here's the front blinker. I'm pretty sure that sits up here. All right. Now that was all painted, primed paint. So, you know, all refurbed. That was a refurbed part, like everything else. Most of the stuff in these boxes was. There's all brackets there, all the bonnet brackets and hinges and everything. It was all done. It had all been sanded and primed and painted. It upsets me talking about this a little bit. So yes, the car was well on its way, right? And I don't know. Somehow, I don't know. Somehow it has. I don't know if it's happened down there. It came from Sydney, okay? So I don't know if it happened down in Sydney or if it happened when the people moved to Queensland. They've moved to Queensland. This car, for some reason, we don't know. I don't know. For some reason, it just got left out in the weather. Okay? Why? Like I said, I do not know. But not only did it just get left out in the weather, it got left out in the weather like that. No covers, no tarps, nothing. No windows, nothing. So it just, all the weather inside. Yeah, very intelligent. But anyway, so basically we had this beautiful car that, well, I didn't, but someone had this beautiful car that was very far along and decided to leave it out in the weather. Hence this. So when we got it, we opened this boot, and the boot was basically a miniature swimming pool. And I'm not joking, literally a swimming pool. There's obviously needs a drain plug drilled in, but the boot was just full of water. So full, like up to this lip was just full, the whole boot. These were full, yeah. And then there was a heap of boxes. So these black boxes weren't in it, of course, but that was in it. That box was in it. There's a few other boxes I threw away. And as you can see, the state of that, I don't even think I have to tell you, do I? All the parts are in that box, and the box was full of water. Yeah, so for 2 years, the car and the parts sat full of water. Now, most of these parts were wrapped up in paper and plastic because they were finished, totally finished. And then they got left in water. Okay, so just to show you the extent of the damage that got done is, well, there's one of our door mechanisms. Okay, now we're going to fix this. We are going to use inox, and we're going to refurb these. I'm going to get these working, don't worry about that. But the devastating part is, there's a couple of them. I've got 2 more in there that did not get wet, that are wrapped in plastic with oil in them, and are like brand spanking new Dormex, which is what they would have been. Perfect. Perfect. Now look at it. Everything, the whole car is in here. The whole car is in these boxes. Every single thing, pretty much, except the steering wheel. No steering wheel, steering column, but I actually have a steering column. Other than that, and we are missing one headlight bucket. So you call that a bucket? I don't know what you call it, but we're missing one of them. I'm going to have to try to track down. So it's actually quite... It upsets me every time I talk about it, of what transpired with that. But anyway, that's not an issue for me. As in, it's probably worked out good because we got the car at a very good price. You will find out what I paid for this car eventually. Once we get full blown into it, you will know, because I'm building this thing for $5,000 on the road. So that's the plan. So yeah, you don't know the costing. Well, I might as well tell you. I bought this. And I bought that main line for $3,000. Okay. So yeah, we just got to work out. You know, we've probably got to say, it's hard when I bought a pair, but you've got to say the main line's worth $1,000, and this say $2,000. $2,000 we'll say. Who's on it there? Happy with that? $2,000 we're going to say for that. $2,000 on this and $1,000 for the other one. So $2,000 is what it is owing me so far. Now what I've decided to do, which a lot of people will get their poo pants on really, really quickly about, is we've got no motor. And what I'm going to do is, I have a 202 Holden 6-cylinder sitting there that owes me, I think, $500, and I'm going to put that in there. Okay, we're not going to stuff about. We're not going to buy V8s or any of that. To make $5,000 budget, this will be the only way I can make the $5,000 budget, is to put that in. Okay. So with that motor in, we're at we're going to be at $2,500. All right. Now what we do have is we have a Jag series. I'm not sure what series. Front end and rear end, but they are not. If you'll see, that's pretty centered, but it is not welded in yet. And the rear, as you can see, is not in. They're just sitting in there with the ratchet straps, to tell you the truth, right? So that's another job we've got to do, is we've got to weld all that up. We do have a little bit of a rust repair to do. The car is very, very good, but I don't know if you can see over there. You can see through the floor there. So we've got a bit of rust in there, and there's a tiny little piece in there, I think, but we might get away with this piece here, but we've got to actually cut that out. We've got to pull the back seat out a bit and see the creepy coolies there. But so that's the plan. This one is going to be a challenge, I'm telling you. pull this off for $5,000, this is going to be a bloody challenge. So that's what I'm going to attempt. And if you guys want to come along and see what we do, then you need to keep watching, eh? So we're going to attempt to build this for $5,000. We'll get very close, I think. So this one will be our secondary build. We are focusing on our Bedford, but sometimes the Bedford kicks my ass a bit, and I'm just going to come and jump on this and do something a bit easier. So I've been working on the Bedford all day today, but what I'm going to come and do is I'm going to come and just do something in the back here of this today. I just wanted a break from the old Betty, and so what I'm going to do is we only pushed this in the shed yesterday. My Pontiac is not overly impressed about being under the carport and not in the shed, but he's going to have to deal with that. So because old mate decided he wanted to have a swimming pool in his Chevy, our boot floor started to deteriorate a bit. There is one little hole there and there. Okay, but there are that minor. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I may even just seam seal that. I don't know. But I came in. My mate was over yesterday and he was having a little play with it, and he came in and just cleaned all this out because it was all full of rust and dirt and mud and what have you. So and then we noticed how I haven't really looked in here myself. Oh, my legs are really sore, guys. I don't know what that is. Oh, look at that. Must be for the spare wheel, yeah. See, this is cool. This is why I like these old cars. There's so much cool stuff in it. Anyway, focus. There's a lot of rust flaking. So yeah, I got him to give it a scrape with a scraper, just to scrape the flakes out. And yeah, so that's where we're at on here. So what we're going to do today, just because I want something nice, easy job for the day, for the afternoon, is what are they for? Any ideas? Someone tell me what they're for. See, so now I haven't seen what this car looks like completed, so I'm going to have to go get some pictures and actually see what goes where, and so I can actually try to work it out and build it. But yeah, what we're going to do is I'm going to go vacuum this. I'm going to put you on time lapse. We're going to vacuum this out. We're going to get some rust converter, and we're going to quickly brush some rust converter in on this base, and then I think I'll go get some grey. I think grey will look good. It'll sort of go with the flow. I've got some grey kill rust sort of type paint, and I'm just going to slather that in here and just stop this in its tracks is the plan. So we're going to rust convert it, and then we're just going to hit it with the we'll rust convert all this, then we'll hit it with the kill rust paint, and then we'll just stop this in its tracks, and then we'll have one little job done, and we'll get all this, we'll clean all this around here, we'll give that a quick little clean, so we have that'll be our first little job done on the car. And yeah, so there won't be a whole lot of work done on this video of this. It's just going to be, it's basically an introduction to it, even though it's like the second episode. This is basically the introduction to this car, because I was never really sure whether I was going to build this or not. I was never really sure what I was going to do. I just, when the price is right on these, I'll go get them, okay? And, well, if people who know anything about building hot rods and whatever, a jag front and rear, well, they're highly sought after, and you should know what sort of money they're worth. So there's pretty close to what I paid for the car. I paid is there, okay? These are there and there is close to. It's pretty well. Maybe even is our $2,000. They're worth at least $600 each, so they're worth a minimum of $1,200. I reckon you could get $2,000 though for your front and rear. So that's basically what I paid, you know. Does that make sense? So when they're at that price, I'm pulling the trigger. Now this is pretty much rust free, so yeah, very good car. So the plan is to just tinker along, build it, and we've got to sit here and clean and refurb these parts, and you'll probably see me mate coming around now and then. He'll probably tinker. He'll enjoy it. He's gonna do a bit of tinkering on this one. He's learning how to do all this sort of stuff. He's more of a you call him? He's not a tree hugger, but he's more of a wildlife person. He's into snakes and spiders and fucking stupid stuff. But he's in love with cars now, but he doesn't really know how to do any of it. So he's gonna teach himself how to do stuff by just tinkering along on this side. So there's an intro into the car, an intro into our plan, and I'll do a bit of work and we'll come back and that'll be that. Reaper.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
So we are back. As you've seen what I was just doing. Right, we stuck the bonnet on to give you a good look at what the car looks like. Whew. It is an absolute beast, this thing, I'm telling you. This is going to be a really good looking car, guys. I like it. Suicide doors on the rear. It's big. Oh, it's not as big as that one. It's not as big as him, but it is a big car. Huge interior, guys. Huge interior. Little baby boot, but you can fit a fair bit in it. Monster long bonnet. But the interior, look at that. Look at this. From there to there is absolutely huge. All right, now that there is a monster of a car, and the interior is so much bigger in this. So I'll just give you a quick little look inside. Now what I found was... see, look at that. Well, I haven't sat in here because there could be spiders in there. But look at the legroom in there. Hey, come on now. Hey, that is just absolutely insane. This was, this is like Bonnie and Clyde type gangster stuff, isn't it? But yeah, that's like a limo, isn't it, really? I'll dig those ashtrays. I think I got them. We'll stick them in soon. Anyway, that's not what we're here to look at, is it? No, no, no. Right, we did the boot. So we kill rust converter. Sorry, we did a rust converter. And I said I was going to paint it grey, but I went looking in my in some of my paint, and I found some. What did I find? Let's have a look here. It's just over here. It's a metal primer. Oh, my legs are pretty sore today. It's for clean and rusty surfaces, so I thought this was perfect, eh? I got heaps of paint, mate, guys. I got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of paint. So I had 4 or 5 tins of that, flat red. I reckon that's what was on it to start with. So we just grabbed the brush and we did the rust converter first, and then we just slapped a quick layer of that over it. And well, it's a freaking hell of an improvement already, isn't it? I actually don't mind the colour. We might see a bit more of this colour yet. So I don't know. We'll have a look at what that looks like in the morning. Whether it needs another coat, probably will, or whether I go grab some grey. I've got about 30 or 40 tins of grey, 2 different greys. Well, one's called Wallaby and one's called something else. But anyway, that's beside the point. What it's called is, so I've got all this grey paint I thought I could use, but this stuff here was a primer for rusty metal, so I actually thought that would be good to put on. So rust converter, then that, and then we'll see what we think, whether we leave that, which does look pretty good, or whether I slap a coat of grey over the top. But yeah, that's a flat red, so yeah, we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. And it has just literally been slapped in there, so it may need another coat, but under these lighting conditions, it looks $1 million. And I ran it up the sides there as well, just to make it all even. So yeah, that's what we did. That's our first little start. That's going to be our first video on the 1940 shed. Well, not the first. The first in the building process, but hey. So drop your comments down. What you think? What you think of the car? Do you think I can pull this off for $5,000? Tell me, just give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts on the painting process, everything. What I'm doing to the car, the patina, everything. Just let us know what your thoughts are. We'll do the and yeah, don't forget, go and check that Bedford video out, eh? Go check the Bedford videos out. You will be surprised how this thing is an absolute beast, and it's nearly there. And yeah, we might even start calling ourselves the home of the $5,000 build, the way we're going. Tell me if you reckon I can achieve that. You tell me if you reckon I can pull that off for $5,000. I reckon most of you will say, no, I can't. Now, that's 5,000 Australian, which for the Americans, that wouldn't even be 3,000. It's probably about 2,700 or 2,800. And you've also got to remember that our parts are very expensive here compared to you guys. Yeah, it's phenomenal, the price difference in what people charge for stuff here. Like even the old stuff, like you guys go to the wrecking yard, your local pull apart or whatever, and you'll find old cars. Over here nowadays, nah, they're not. Everyone's held on to them. Everyone reckons they're worth $1 million. And a dirty old HQ Holden, which I've left a few of them on the side of the road when they broke down. Well, when I was younger, I just walked away from them, couldn't be bothered. They are now worth like $10,000 for totally rusted out bits of rubbish, and like if it's a flash one, like a numbered up special one, you're talking big dollars, like 100 to 200,000. Like, are you serious for a dirty old HQ? So yeah, you've got to put that in perspective, that over here everyone's gone stupid. Anything with a V8 has just gone stupid. Yeah, they've all gone stupid over here. So yeah, we don't have the luxuries that the Americans have with being able to just go anymore. We used to 10 years ago. You could go to the wrecking yard and there'd be all the old cars there. And if I was a bit smarter, I would have put them all away 10 years ago. All those $500 cars, because they're now worth about 10, 15 grand. All those $500 cars. But yeah, so nowadays over here, parts have gone through the absolute roof. Everything is just gone stupidly priced. So you got to put that into perspective when I say $5,000 for Americans, you're probably talking a $2,000 to $3,000 build, okay? And remember, this is a rare car here, not like it is in America. So, with that being said, yeah, hope you enjoyed the first one. Like I said, this is our main project at the moment. This is just, we'll probably pump one video out on this one a week. We'll just do the odd little job here and there that I'll put out, little snippeties. But this is our main one that we are doing. And, yeah. And, well, you might not have seen it. If you haven't been watching, you will know the repart ants. And we're going to do it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.